Today we're at the Hampton Road Agricultural Research and Extension Center at Virginia Beach. And today we're talking with Dr. Chris Criscione, who's going to talk to us about vegetable container gardening. Chris, why don't we start from the top? How do we select the proper container?
Sure. Yeah, you know, when you go into a retail garden center, it's so difficult to find all these different types of options that they give us. Because you walk into the aisle and you look, and there's just so many options for us to choose from. When you go to a garden center, you're going to be presented with mainly three options. You either have a plastic container, and these plastic containers are likely your cheapest option. They are lightweight, they're durable, they're flexible, so you can really move them around, no problem. And then your other two options are going to either be a clay pot. Now, clay pots come in two different shapes and sizes. You got a terracotta pot, and these are great because they have pores in them. So this is really important to know. They're made out of clay, but they're porous, which means water can move in and out of them. So they tend to dry out a lot faster. Okay. Whereas you have another clay pot, but this is glazed over. So this pot does not have any pores, so it's unlikely for water to move out as easily, and it doesn't dry out as fast.
So we selected our container. What do we put into it? I see you've got some samples in the front here.
I do. So same thing happens when you go to a garden center. You're presented with so many options. Same thing with our potting soils. What we have here is really the main three popular potting soils that you're going to see when you go shopping for them at garden centers. You have your pine bark, your peatlight, and your coconut coir. Now, a pine bark usually has larger particles, which means they tend to drain more, they tend to have more airspace in them, and they dry out faster. Okay. Whereas your peatlight, it's really efficient at holding water. And I would like to note that these white specks in the peat moss is called perlite. Now the brown in there is peat moss. That's the actual material that's holding water. But these white specks called perlite, we use these in our potting soil formulations to help drain. So this is not fertilizer. We use it for drainage. And then our coconut coir is just another really fibrous material. You could see it looks like the husk from a coconut because that's exactly what it is. And this is really good at holding water. So if you are selecting a potting soil and you go to a garden center and you see a mix that doesn't have any of those white specks, it's okay. Our potting soil companies are really efficient and good at engineering our potting soils to make sure they have all the water and nutrients that you need.
So we've selected our container type, we've selected our media. How do we select our container size?
Great question. So containers come in all different shapes and sizes, and you'll see many when you go shopping for them. They may either be short or tall, but it's really important to know that the height of the container is going to dictate how much your potting soils drain. Our shorter containers don't drain as much, whereas our taller containers drain a lot more. The same thing happens with our water. A taller container has more gravity at the top, so it pulls water downward. Okay. Yep. And when we put a substrate or a potting soil inside our container, we can see this gravity happening. So when you have a sponge, which is very similar to a potting soil, you know, a sponge has particles, it has pores, just like our potting soil. And we have about 2 inches of height here. When we change the height, we could change the drainage, and we could stop it. But when we change the height up to, say, 10 inches, we could see all the water drain right down.
So I can see that layer here. So this would be the perched water table. So if I put rocks in to fill that up, what I'm actually doing is raising that saturation level closer to the root system.
Exactly. Never put rocks inside a container. That is very bad. Exactly what you said. What happens is you raise that perched water table because as water moves down your potting soils, it actually can't drain into that rock layer. So what happens is that water just rises up and you create an environment that has no oxygen for the roots.
Great. So we've got our container, we've got our media. How do we fertilize our containers?
Great question. So our potting soils come with almost no nutrition for them, which means we have to supplement all the extra nutrients for our plants to grow and develop. And there's really two ways you can do that. You can use a water-soluble fertilizer. This is a very popular one. You'll see liquid feeds all throughout a garden center. And all this does is you mix it up with water and you apply it to your potting soil.
Okay.
And the benefits of these are the nutrients are immediately available to the plant. However, when you apply a liquid feed formulation, all those nutrients will drain right out if the plants don't use it, which means you have to constantly liquid feed. Another alternative to that is using a controlled release fertilizer. Now sometimes your potting soil may have controlled release fertilizer in them, but all this is basically fertilizer prills. And inside each of these little prills, you have nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all the nutrients that your plants need to grow and develop. And what happens is it slowly releases nutrients over time. So you often only need to apply it once and you're done. If it's not incorporated inside the potting soil, you can see right here that sometimes you could just put controlled release fertilizer on top of the plant, and that should be more than enough to keep it alive and growing.
And I can see how some people confuse the prills with perlite because they're about the same size.
Yeah, exactly. They look the same, and especially when they're incorporated inside a mix, it's hard to differentiate. But if your potting soil doesn't have those perlite little particles, it's okay. Don't fret.
Well, thank you, Chris, for taking the time today to tell us how to have a successful container garden. For more information about container gardening, contact your local extension office and talk to a master gardener. For From the Ground Up, I'm Ed Olsen. See you next time.